A storm was brewing outside as a group of friends were watching TV. A lightning bolt suddenly hits the TV. The bots have escaped, but where are they going?
All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for a bit of a spicy twist up. I'm here with Mohan. How are you doing?
What's going on? Just a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, slightly. Maybe not so much.
Okay.
Less than I should, I feel like.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going out to the world right now.
It's possible that we can't hear Mohan. We'll figure that out. In the meantime, second map is going to be coming up in what has turned out to be an incredibly spicy game between Gambit and NaVi, with Gambit somehow managing to show up and actually take that first map, which I don't think many people were expecting. I was more expecting some kind of a repeat from what we saw at the major finals, where things were a little bit more one-sided. So not the finals, but right there in the semis. Looked like it was going to be a little bit more interesting. Yeah, we're working on Mohan's audio and obviously working on getting back into the game again. I've got to say, I'm impressed by Gambit so far. 16-11 on that Mirage game, and we're going to get our first Ancient of the tournament yet, which for some reason has been vetoed out the whole way through. In terms of the odds, it's now favoring Gambit. That must be the first time in a long time that NaVi are at least the sort of theoretical underdogs in any game. Who could have seen it coming? But that is actually where we are at. Many people surprised. A lot of tension in the green room, I've got to say, in the break. We had Banks worried, I noticed, for NaVi. And I think a couple of people, Yanko, kind of cheering it. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. Oh, is it back? Is it working?
I think
Maybe?
I think we've arrived.
It's
Not yet.
Okay, it's not. All right.
Oh!
Now it is. Let's go.
We did it.
What's good, Andy?
They on the fly switched out an entire headset. That's amazing. Hello, Mohan. How are you?
Amazing. Wow, the technology these days.
It's true.
We never get enough of it.
Did you see this coming with Gambit? How did they take that first map?
Yeah, that was just that was Gambit at their prime, but this time on LAN in a final. You know what I mean? That was
Truly.
the Gambit that we have been looking to see in their LAN transition. We were all like, let's give them a few months, right, of LANs that they could see how they'll place, and then they had very respectable placings, but they didn't convert those respectable placings into wins like they were doing for the first half of the year.
Were you a bit worried? I never thought of Gambit really as being onliners, but I was a bit worried that maybe that sort of reputation would stick to them on some level if they finished the year getting blown up by NaVi again.
One thing we're so lucky about is we get this LAN to end the year on, and there's only been a handful of events, and they've all been in this winter season apart from Cologne. And so this is the final chance and the one to prove and change the story, as Moses told me, the Mighty Ducks story for Gambit, to prove that they are the same team online as they are on LAN. That is the story today.
Well, let's see how it unfolds. We're going to be going to the second map. It's NaVi versus Gambit, and we are on Ancient for the first time, with NaVi starting on the CT side, Gambit on the T side. So what do you make? Do we even know anything about Ancient of these two teams?
Yeah. Okay, I'll say that Gambit in particular have an affinity for that one pillar inside the B site, right around the bomb plant zone. They double up on this position. They play heavy towards cave, and they're so good at stopping anybody from lurking up B. And right now, it's a lot of teams' MO to send their best player up the banana and take the peak because it's so wide open.
Yes.
And there's lots of timings.
I mean, I was very skeptical and even somewhat had a bit of a hatred built up for Ancient before we actually reached the major. Yeah. But during the major, this map was played so hard and fast that it kind of changed my mind a little bit. And we'll see. I'm not expecting Gambit necessarily to be that quick team because they're just normally not. But I think the map has kind of opened my eyes a little bit to this map again. I'm a little bit more on board with it now. Some early aggression in the middle, some good map control for Gambit, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, Hobbit with the first peak that gets shut down. Second one spotted.
Scary moment. They were double teaming him, so well aware, Gambit, that there could be a little bit of a presence there. They're actually going to slow back. The bomb is leading the other way, and NaVi, they're going to have some advanced warning. They've got Simple here as well with the USP. He's hiding until the first contact is made inside of the bomb site, which will be on Electronic. So question really is, will it be enough to have Simple on this box? 35 seconds now. There's the stand-up for Electronic. Simple hardly gets anything done on that play. He's going to be going down. Axel with a really swift kill, but the bomb is on the ground and not planted at the moment, and Shiro will go down last. It's Bit with a terrific double kill, and NaVi off to a good start.
Yeah, that's oftentimes a fruitful position to be in, right behind that single box, especially on rounds where there's low utility, and pistols is where it's the most sparse. So if nobody's going to molly you back there, it's really hard to clear. It's something that can be wall-banged easily, but again, if you just have pistols coming at you, then it can be a strong spot to stand in if it doesn't get hard cleared. What people are doing is they're jumping around the back of it, but that shows the intention of the team. And on this round, you can see Gambit were not prepared for the spot. But Simple is pretty much the only one to not get a kill. I mean, Bit and Boomich got 2 apiece, so he's got teammates this year, Anders.
Yeah, he does. Still sometimes ends up carrying these games on his own, but he doesn't technically need to anymore, which I guess is it's a welcome change for him on some level.
No, it is true. And like the major, we saw something like Boomich was like putting in like 200 hours. I'm sure some of that was just idle, you know, for the 2 weeks right before the major. But he talked about it. He was grinding harder than he ever had. And now at this event, it does feel a little bit like earlier NaVi, where not everybody's firing off at that same level. And you know, we had Blade talk about how the team might be a little bit burnt out from all the hours they put in. But I think Moses also pointed this out, and he could just be here right now. You know, it could be him just saying this, but between the 5 of them, it's the last match of the year. No matter how burnt out you are, all you got to do is get it together for this one 500K best of 3. I can't think of any better motivation than that amount of money.
It's true, and you want to go into that Christmas break feeling like you've really done everything you could. You don't want to be spending Christmas looking back, man, if only we could have done a little bit more, we would have won the final tournament of the year.
With inflation, I mean, Christmas gets more expensive every year.
I'm not going to take the bait, and I'm not doing it. Electronic, Simple, a couple of kills each, even Simple with the USP there actually. Out-dueling Shiro. It's a bit interesting. Some good dinks are coming in from the T side, but not enough for an actual kill. It'll be NaVi instead to pick up a second round with no casualties at all.
And this is a brave move from Gambit, right? They're coming in to play against NaVi. Blade said, oh, we were surprised to see that Gambit picked it, but more so in a way of like looking down your nose type of surprise. Like, oh, this is interesting but cute, right? We like to play Ancient. We first picked it in a number of really big series this year. We know that we can beat Gambit on the map, but conversely, Gambit have been very strong, and they put a lot of time and attention to Ancient. And if NaVi aren't bringing the same level of preparation since they're expecting Overpass, then those are good ingredients for a very tasty win.
We'll see if it's all hubris from NaVi's side, or if they actually are as good on Ancient as they seem to think, which so far it's moving in the right direction. They are playing with a significant weapon disadvantage in this 3rd round, though.
Yeah, they're quite low. CT side is brutal, man. It's all the inflation.
That's in the money. They can't afford it.
I'm gonna get you to bite one of these rounds.
You know how little it takes to set me off.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
3rd round. Yeah, but I mean, obviously, we sometimes refer to this as like a bonus round. If they win this with just the SMGs, it's great. What a boost. NaVi taking down Boomich.
It's all the particulars, isn't it, with Gambit? They look like the default. It looks like they're nowhere on the map when they take map control, and then suddenly you have some small innovation like that just allows you to crack the defense wide open. And this is the money stat for a lot of these top teams. It's just getting the 5v4. You put all your ingenuity into finding that one kill, and then everything can really collapse. And 4v5 teams are not the same.
Perfecto. Sneaking up. Wanted to take probably that early death back and try and see if they can get the advantage. Is he going to get flashed in? Yes, he will. It's a really good flashbang, but I think Axel was untouched by it, so he was able to get the return at the very least. But I like that trick from NaVi. It's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where the bad decisions start creeping in. Every single push you wanted to take when it was 5v5, you do it 4v5. But now, Electronics got some help. Him and Simple combined for 2v2.
Cool. He's in the corner and he can't get out. Shiro turning up at the right time. Bit, he wants to fall back and he actually makes the jump backwards. That's a neat trick. Shiro. Now Molotov is going to land on him. It will force him out into the open, but he lands the headshot anyway. A great triple, and Gambit are right on the board again.
That was a smooth move, wasn't it? Jumping back around the corner. and almost winning. I mean, there's a perfect reposition as well.
It was, if he failed that jump, though, it would have been the most hilarious failure because he would have just stood in the lane as Shiro peeked him.
Yeah,
so.
that would have been falling off your skateboard.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of your dark slide.
Not a good times. This is quite something with Shiro.
Yeah, he also, you know, it's the last round of the match. You don't really get to analyze it after the fact, but the way that he played the last round of Mirage was so masterful. You could tell he's firing on all cylinders. And Shiro, he was missing a couple of shots here or there, but I think it says more about your composure, like in a situation where there's a lot of pressure, when you're making the decisions that are super smart, as opposed to hitting the crazy shots sometimes. So I think that.
Oh yeah. It's a way more subtle thing. You're right. It's hard to really bring up in the middle of a game, but yeah, there are some. There's some cool stuff to look at. I mean, I think there's a reason why Shiro has been touted as one of those players that's so worth keeping an eye on. And I agree, the decision making, especially in the moments of pure chaos, is usually where it falls apart for most people.
Mm-hmm. One of his best stats this year is just his very low DPR, you know, keeping that off alive constantly. But unlike Dame, he doesn't have the reputation of just saving every single round. Okay, wow, well, okay, you got to be counting your lucky stars for that one. And NaVi knows where his next target is going to be.
Come on. Oh, nice nade. And Axile with the headshot to take down Simple. NaVi, I mean, they had that bonus round, but actually they ended up buying a bunch of FAMASas in this round anyway, and they're kind of getting punished a little bit for it. Some of these fights not going their way because the Axile's low on health. Maybe an M4 instead or an AWP would have made the real difference here. Bit is on his own, and he's getting swung on by Axile as well. So, second round.
That's kind of cool. Like, NaVi pushed up to the point that you're like, he's prepped to swing. Like, he's probably going to take the second duel by himself. But his team is moving so fluidly, he's able to transition to just utility. They throw a nade at this player, and that's it. They run away from it and keep the round moving forward to just punish the rotations before they even come in. Oh, that was English, I think.
Listen, I hope we get everything translated at some point, you know.
Yeah.
Hire one person to go through all the footage at the end.
We need like the audio version of Zoom Enhance for some of these.
Yeah, it's true. They are back to pistols on the NaVi side. Fifth round here, and from Gambit's point of view, I mean, this is tremendous work to start off with.
It's a mental thing, I feel like, is half the battle. They know Gambit so well, better than almost any team this year, especially when it comes to winning. But it's just that when you lose rounds, it's like what kills Liquid, basically. If you get them to tilt, it just totally destroys them from the inside out. And the way that Gambit win these rounds, you know, everyone talks about how smart they are and how capable they are, and then they just pull out like 5 lurks all at once, and you're like, that doesn't work in my pugs. How did they just do that versus NaVi? And like, you can't help but be tilted.
Yeah. Yeah, they must be one of the more frustrating teams to play against on a whole bunch of levels. I mean, you're right in saying that NaVi definitely, they're familiar with the style, but still, it must be frustrating. I feel like especially when they go that sort of halfway in kind of attack, whereas like they slow it down in the middle of it, and now you have to sit and wait. You know something is coming, but you're forced to spend an extra 10, 15 seconds kind of anxiously waiting. And if you go investigate, that could also just be the end of the round there.
As soon as you put the Visine in your eyes because they've dried out from holding an angle, that's 1 second later Hobbit peeks you.
That's so as someone who wears contact lenses, that is a...
Oh, they hit too close to home.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I also...
You ever pass out with them on?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I've woken up in the morning.
They're going to end up on the backside of your eye, Anders.
It's not a good thing. No, but I get so incredibly focused on whatever I'm doing whenever I'm playing any game. So I forget to blink as well. So they just completely dry up. It's not a good thing.
Yeah.
They need to invent something better. I guess they have in glasses, but
yeah.
I look like a moron with glasses on.
Really? I thought it was supposed to make everyone look smarter. What happened?
I was actually, when I went to university, I thought, this will make me look smart. I'm at university, I'll buy the glasses. And I wore them for a couple of years. And I've seen pictures of myself with them on. And I'm really appalled that no one told me not to do that.
You know, I actually, when I was a kid, I tried to fail an eye test because I thought glasses looked cool. So I went to an optometrist, but I did such a bad job of pretending I had bad vision.
You failed to fail?
I heard him talking to my mom saying that his vision is fine. That was the biggest L that I took.
Oh, and no.
I'd taken some major L's at that point.
That's amazing, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Some good background lore in Launder's life.
A long list of things that we don't need to know.
Sixth round, though. What we do need to know is that NaVi sort of technically are back with a buy, but what a weird buy.
Yeah, this is a desperate one for sure. Yeah, utility is so damn low. It'll really make you insecure on Ancients. You know, to have such low utility at the beginning of a round like this. And right now they're curled up on A, but there are no aggressive maneuvers, and you are lacking some aggressive options on Ancient CT side. All the power is in the early round utilities. The fact that you can throw them back here when the round starts off, it really puts a dent in the plans for the T side. But in this situation, you've just got to rely on your firepower alone. That's where I think it gets very uncomfortable. And you can just see from the minimap how much they're flicking around in these positions. No one's in a comfortable spot.
Yeah, they are all moving quite a bit. Even, I think, trying to sort of preempt what they think might be some sort of an alien here, which I don't think Gambit have really made up their minds yet, although they aren't taking middle, but that could really mean anything at this point. Perfecto and Boomich over at the B-bomb site. Simple, real close to the middle right here. Deagle in hand, 29 seconds, and not a lot of time. And even at close range with that new Deagle, he's going to be able to pick up that kill on NaVi. 3 versus 4, Electronic found inside of the bomb site. That is probably the pivotal kill that they needed right there. And it's Axal at range, spraying down Boomich. Absolutely brilliant work from Axal right here. And 2 versus 2 now. He's gunning for another headshot. They're taking the fight to him. And he runs out of bullets. Oh dear, that's a big problem. Perfecto comes through and saves NaVi in an unlikely round.
Okay, I mean, the way that Axal was shooting, it looked like he was going to get 3. He was given some time to work with there. But the dry gun is what ends him, finally. After shooting so many players down. And I thought you had it perfect. That first frag on the site opens it up, allowed Shiro to scale, get out into the site, put the bomb down. But yeah, Perfecto brings it back to 1v2 at the end of the day for him in this position, with both players looking in his direction. But I feel like Gambit are pretty impressed with themselves. They even brought it that close.
They certainly did a lot of damage in terms of keeping NaVi low. They still, I mean, NaVi, they get to save 2 of those AKs, but they have to buy an MP9, and they still don't have that AWP on Simple. So something to work for here. Still very aggressive coming up from Hobbit. I think that's very cool. It's not the kind of fast pace that we normally see on the Gambit, so trying to see if they can throw them for a loop in the middle.
Yeah, they always try to break their characterization just on the most weird round, and that's where they catch you. Just suddenly aggression, suddenly Hobbit, suddenly Axile, suddenly everybody, and then 4 rounds of absolute, slow crawl, empty flashes, smokes that mean nothing, and that's where they're living inside your head rent-free. Where the hell is Simple?
He's off on a mission. It's out either to rob Braves or to find Shiro. And that's the bomb as well.
That was the Donald Glover walking in with the pizza box, seeing too much and walking out.
What is going on? Oh, he's hiding by the fern. Gonna be a good kill on NaVi. And Intos and Axile, they are far separated. Perfecto showing up to shoot him at the back, and it leaves Axile. Not much he could really do in this situation, is there?
Yeah, he can just, he's got glasses, so he can look smart, but
true,
it helps him. But yeah, he's too far away from everything. So yeah, we go down 4-4 really early, but somehow Simple finds this push. And talking to teams, I can tell you the #1 most difficult thing to do versus Gambit is just finding that opening on CT side, because it feels like every time you push, eventually somebody's waiting for you. So to take that one risk is what really means the most here for NaVi, and defines the round entirely. Look where the bomb is. It's in a place that you never see it here on this map.
No, just completely lost to Gambit. So is the round.
I really wonder how much NaVi are worried about coming into Ancient, knowing that it's like a surprise pick, and Gambit, what are the tricks? They're the kings of workshopping, finding new details about a map. So I wonder how much fear they have coming into play the map, even though they know it.
It's also through this strange lens of the fact that we haven't seen it throughout the tournament, and it's still a new map. Even if people are quick to try and figure out the early meta game, usually maps don't really settle themselves for a long time, right? So, I mean, it's possible that Gambit would have done a lot of work that no one really even knows about.
Why does everyone hate? Why is there a war on Ancient? Everyone just stopped playing it. It was played everywhere, for most of the year.
I don't really know.
G2 were picking it. Gambit were picking it. NaVi were picking it.
I mean, in terms of the pro players, I don't really even understand it. I know why there is what. I mean, I tried to start one on social media. I was very bitter about it.
Maybe you were more influential than you.
But I can't really explain it, to be honest. It just feels like maybe people they tried it for a bit and they didn't enjoy it. Maybe it's just the.
I heard one player say they felt like it was random, or it might have been Blade or Groove or something like that. I think James maybe asked a question and they said they felt like the map was random.
My problem was always that it was very hard for me to see how you could ever, if you wanted to, play fast on the T side. It just seemed like it was never going to be. Now, I think I was proven wrong on that to some extent in the major. So I'm actually, that's what made me a little bit more excited about it. But maybe...
I was with you there for a second. But yeah, I mean, and the CT nades, as they get better, they have so much freedom. Like, they pulled back the spawns a little bit, but yeah, throw the nades as far as you want.
Yeah, you can really lock it down over at the B-bomb side. A-bomb side, you can't really rush either. Middle is very hard. You can see Hobbit tried it the last round. That's a good opening. Double through the smoke against Boomich.
Wow, it's just called all the cavalry over the rotations here for the CTs. Okay, all right. He doesn't have an op, but he'll still use only one bullet. Oh,
okay.
That's a timing.
Finding it through. Nafany's out.
Always trust your instincts, guys.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept, right? I feel like very often if you think of a play and you try and think it over for more than like half a second, it's already too late. It's almost like the second it comes to mind, you just do it right now. Because usually that extra time is what it takes for everyone else to catch up to the idea that there was an opening even on the other side. Perfecto turning around for the flashbang. Great move from him. It allows him to get that kill on Inters. It leaves Hobbit on his own. 1 versus 3. He's already picked up one of those kills. 25 seconds. He'd love to try and get that bomb plant down, but Simple will not allow it. And NaVi, they're going to be up 5-3.
I will say that with the nade change coming in, and then the fact that you have the silenced M4s, which is a mainstay on Ancients for the CT side, like almost nobody is using it.
Yes.
In general, the M4 in general, A4 in general, but on this map, it's even heightened the amount of smoke spams you want to get away with and stuff like that. So those two things lead it into situations where T side can just feel like an abyss. I mean, in terms of options, it just feels even worse than it used to be right when the map originally came out.
Yeah, the M4A4 really only serves the function now of showing that you're rich because you got the Howl.
Yeah, or a bit just proving, that he can use any gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a selected handicap, but he's like, all right, I'm going to win anyway.
Exactly.
Okay, Hobbit goes down. Good player to find. I feel like Hobbit has had one of the best tournaments of the year for himself almost, just from the eye test.
And that says a lot, yeah.
Yeah, it does. He's back to such a high level. But this one is looking like it's about to be a pretty good lead here for NaVi, in spite of taking some losses in a row. They've got the money behind them again. Just a bit, and certainly the weapons as well. Attempted explosion into the A-bomb side. Electronic with an easy triple spray. So 6-3. I wonder what they will throw at us next time, Gambit, to try and change this this pace a little bit.
I do like the A walkouts because oftentimes you'll have one op holding a powerful line, waiting, and if you have the pistols, you're willing to take that duel, lose a player as long as you can get on the site. Sometimes the rotations are slow. Sometimes the CTs are spending a little bit too much time in middle, and if you have one smoke for Donut, then the A site is a lot easier to take. And you just pray for like an Axel 1 dig on the op, or if you get that, you can snowball. So that's a cool option for the A site. And we see, maybe 1 to 2 times a half a full A exec, while running. But most of the time, people use that side of the map for the mid rounds. And you get the 3v3s, maybe you lurk out, try to punch the fact that usually that A player is very far from his next teammate.
Yeah, because people tend to want to even lean mid or B, right? They want to be as close as they can to that position. Electronic, unfortunate start for him as he goes down to Hobbit. 4 versus 5. Especially when you get a kill this early in a round, it's just such a luxury on the T side. And Boomich is really, really far forward here in the Jaguar tunnels on his own.
Quite a dangerous spot to be when things cool off this much, because the mollies can come in on both sides. Wow, that's a brave move to make, but that's actually such a selfless move to run in and put the molly out. That takes attention away from Boomich. You're not going to expect a double play inside of Cave. And if you're not going to take this map control, it's going to be used against you. That could be a winning maneuver here from Perfecto.
Bit close on the AK. Good spray. Shiro, love to follow it up, but yep, he has the bomb. He drops it on the ground, which is probably good. Don't want to be giving too much information away. Bin is just doing all the work. He's just won the round on his own. 1 versus 3, essentially, and he wins all of the fights.
It just has unlimited fuel in the tank. I feel like you get 2 kills, and then your guard is down mentally. Like, I've done the job already.
Yeah.
Not a bit. He just keeps going. He's just a tugboat that good.
I mean, pulling the NaVi ship home to port.
That's a heavy ship.
I feel like this is an unfortunate round in some way, because Gambit actually get the opening, and they don't even get to test a strategy. I feel like you got sort of 15 tries on the T side in the first half, and sometimes it's annoying if you don't even know if a strategy would have worked or not, because you never even get to sort of really do it. They get shut down before they even get to a point where they could try to set up whatever smokes and flashes they wanted to do.
I think one thing that defines this roster for sure this year, and what they've showed a lot of other top teams, is you can get away with defaulting nearly 15 rounds out of a game. And that playing reactively to the real minutia of a round is actually a lot more fruitful than trying to win a round off the strat you called at a spawn, committing to it no matter what happens. And in this way, you know, we have a situation where NaVi put a little bit of pressure on their one idea, and as soon as that happens, they move them over to a place where NaVi are a bit more comfortable. They got bit in a deep angle where he's expecting to take fights and get kills. So, you know, that kind of style gives and takes, but it does mean that, you know, if you default, you have the maximum amount of options open. If you try to call a strat, the heavy lean towards any part of the map, and something goes wrong, even if you have a good call, then you don't have the ability to take it to A or take it to B later in the round.
Hobbit in the middle again. Does put out the Molotov. Electronic surely going to be suspicious. He actually goes to check, and Hobbit is trying to play hide and seek inside of that smoke. It would have been incredibly cool if he could have made them think that he was no longer there. He could have popped out as they were falling back. Boomich, same position. I don't think they even found him last time, so why not just keep going? Axel and Shiro left.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that was Perfecto did the due diligence of smoking that molly, getting into the other corner, making it look tricky, and it's all about like preying on the preference for anybody who's playing inside a cave. You've got players who like playing on the right side and some on the left side, but ultimately you don't know which side the molly's going to land on from the T perspective. Just a total mind game.
That forward position a bit had a couple of rounds ago. You think, I mean, another fun potential there is actually getting the same kind of aggressive push that Simple did in the middle. Because if you're up on that arm of the A map and you don't feel anything, you can even sneak through, right? We've seen that attempted a couple of times. It's super risky, but I wonder if Bit's the kind of player that would try it every once in a while.
Yeah, absolutely. The only weird part about the push is that the flank rotation, it's like you don't, on Ancient, the rotations are so nice and fast between the middle of your regular rotations that you don't see the big ones quite as often. That's why it's so weird to see Simple all the way in spawn.
Yeah, it actually takes longer to go.
Yeah,
True.
You know, funnily enough. Maybe that's a problem.
8-3. NaVi with a big lead right now. Gambit setting up for what looks like a bit of a try towards the A bomb site. Hobbit and Inter's, I mean, if they get in and get the bomb plant out, Inter's position here is absolutely critical, but Simple already picking off one. He must have seen that surely, but expecting a flank around the box instead. Backup is being called for, but Exile. One more headshot. Bomb is being planted right in front, and Simple, he actually hits it, but it cost him his life as well. Exile's back to try and win this round for Gambit. They need it a lot right now. They're down a man here, NaVi, and how much do they want to throw into this? They have some money if they lose the round, but still, retake here is not going to be easy. Inters is calling it in. No one's coming from middle. Good return from Shiro's. Axel finally is down. And that bomb already far ticked. I don't know about this, NaVi. This does not feel like a winnable round.
Yeah, that's a strange attempt here because, you know, first of all, player disadvantage, not even numbers. Then you know that Gambit are all in their favorite position. So, and they won't even be able to escape it through the... Oh, 3 players go down. That's a huge punishment. I mean... You kind of foreshadowed that, and I think that's the exact right characterization. Like, this is a weird risk. I feel like on most maps, you see teams instantly save in this position, especially after losing Simple here, because you lose Simple, you lose temple control, you know that Shiro still has an off, and he's probably in Donut. Like, you know all of these things. And A site, harder to take, harder to retake. So, a lot of times, if it gets taken over, you don't even give it a chance, unless you have the amount of utility. They could have got, like, the super low percentage ninja defuse, but that's about it.
Yeah, very tricky to do for sure. Boomich traded immediately. Hobbit is the one that goes down, trying to take control of that side of the map. Perfecto and Electronic, though. Gambit, I mean, if they don't move from this position, they're going to be flanked really quickly if they go for this B-bomb side, aren't they?
That's true, yeah. They're not respecting middle here, but Simple is getting... Oh, he's going to get spammed right in the middle of smoke. You know, he didn't have a fallback, actually, in that spot. NaVi let that crunch happen.
Okay.
Well, they get shoved right out. It's a nice remedy for Gambit's issues, where Boomich has been getting way too much value out of just staying alive inside of Cave. This time, they said, all right, we'll go with 2. We'll trade. We're not worried about the Molotovs. We know that NaVi have a good answer for it. let's just go and brute force.
And the follow-up read to pressure Simple before anyone could help him out, because I kind of thought he would try to fall a little bit further back and play off the fact that they had the mid control, right? Didn't really happen, yeah.
Yeah, he could. He had the smoke here at the end of cave. He could have played on the. Oh, I see.
He might not even know where he really is inside the smoke at one point, right?
Yeah, and he gets spotted, but he was also running backwards blind, so that was tough.
Good stuff for Gambit. I mean, that's them up 8-5 now. After NaVi went on a bit of a run, winning 6 rounds in a row. It's good to see Gambit return to the game in a good fashion here.
Yeah, and we're talking quality rounds. The 5 rounds that Gambit won, they've all been outside the pistol rounds. I don't think they've even had an anti-eco to go off of, maybe one after the first 2. So that's
good signs.
Yeah, some good signs for them. Again, up a map, $500,000 match.
Everything on the line. Whether or not you can spend Christmas and New Year's, you know, with peace in your heart, or if you have to relive every round.
How dare you conflate money with that, Anders?
I'm just saying.
They hated him because he told the truth.
14th round. Still a chance, I think, for a heartbreaking end for Gambit. If it's 10-5 in the first half, that's kind of hard to recover from even on this map. No, it can be pretty good for the CT side in general. Ooh. Some frustrating spray there.
Oh, that would have been...
Yeah, distracted him just enough.
That was good from Boomich. So yeah, you got to pay attention. Is that pressure real or not? Wow, that's a confident duel one from... I mean, that's confident swing from Axel to just get out donut like that.
But he's been winning that fight a lot, so I even kind of understand it. They're going to try and boost over. AWP up on the high ground, up on that little plateau. He had the right idea. He knows where they both are. Third man rotating in as well. There's a lot of people here for NaVi. They could still defend the bomb site. Although Hobbit's doing a good job. Bit, he can't see anything, but he's able to get the kill anyway. And Simple will take down Inters. It's a 9-5. So we go into the 15th round.
That's awesome to talk about, you know, the quality of rounds and everything like that. But like you're saying, the pure quantity here is good for NaVi. They get up to 9 fully, even though Gambit have figured out a couple of their tricks. They're basically, it looks like they're going to close out on a strong note. But there is a full buy coming in. One last try for Gambit. And to be honest, yeah, because this map is getting a lot less love recently, it's hard to say how much it is biased towards CT. I just feel like the confidence is there when you're on CT side, and I think that might be a big problem.
Yeah, you kind of know you're going to be having a good time. Ooh, Shiro again, a change of pace and a change of style. This time it's Shiro up on that B ramp. That's one of the things that we saw so much at the major, attempted over and over again, and it's actually harder to stop than you might think. So I like that little pull out. Good card to draw right now. And Anthony will go down in return. It's Boomich back to his old tricks. He's going to make his escape. He actually lives through that.
Yeah, that was a problem for him. He had to drop his smoke just to deny vision, but that smoke isn't a wall, and the molly will come through. Another answer back from Hobbit, and will he sneak out? No, Boomich, so good from him. Off his own smoke, finds that lurk in the mid.
Pulls out the pistol, yeah. Oh, but there's a teammate. Simple comes in with a 5-7 and gets a quick double. And you could almost credit some of that to Boomich as well, just absolutely distracting them. Exile.
Yeah, we know he's a smart player, but you almost never see him in the clutch. He's got some other teammates that end up staying alive a lot longer. So this will be a nice test, and there's a first kill. He knows where Simple was last spotted a few seconds ago.
Still has 40 seconds to wait around. Simple's making a real early call, and Exile is actually feeding him the information for Simple to believe his own call right here.
It lands in an interesting spot, too. It's obviously offhand, and Simple's going to be like, all right, buddy.
Yeah, calling it immediately. Still, it's worth doing it. It means he's now 100% sure that he's going to be at the B bomb site. Bomb will be planted. Simple's not going to be that far away. He doesn't have any smokes. Oh, does he pick? Nope, that's an HE pickup. Molotov on Exile, though. Could be interesting, maybe. Didn't quite see him, I think.
I think his teammate called it for him. It didn't seem like he was confident there.
Yeah, he might have. He's got the right aim. I think you're right. He definitely did. Great headshot and a great 1 versus 2 clutch. 9-6 at the end of the half in favor of NaVi. We'll see if they can continue. Second half is coming up.
Push the door.
It's Renfrew Pacer. Today I'm playing CSGO Screenshot versus my old teammate Nico, and we'll see how I do. I don't know how my chances are here, but hopefully they're better than his. Nuke.
This is Nuke.
This is coming down as T.
I'll say it's a decon. It's like the right side.
I'm pretty sure it's coming down secret on the right side.
Maybe no. Okay, no. Okay, no. It's when you go down secret to the right.
Yes. All right.
I figured it out in the end.
This is dust 2.
This is dust to the T-spawn.
This is on long. Long dust 2.
Ah, it's on short. Ah. Okay, I was so confident it's T-base. I don't know why.
No. Okay, yeah, that's why I've seen it so many times. Okay. I think I even have some lineups with this sign. It's like a walk lineup, so.
It's only one. On Inferno, I think we have 2 of those. Mailbox.
Okay, I feel like I've seen this, maybe?
I'm trying to think if there's any mailbox on other maps. Not on Dust 2. Not on Mirage.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Inferno.
I'll just say Inferno Banana. I don't know. I cannot think of anything.
But second mid, I have no idea. I actually don't remember where this box is. Okay, it's there, okay. Because there's one, maybe it's a green one in second mid you line up smokes with. That's the only thing I remember.
Okay. I knew it was 2. I thought they were connected. So that's why I wasn't sure if it was Banana. This is a Mirage, but...
Кармасмар забил. Еще. Я живу. Тик аккуратно.
Они меня забежали, убили. Помощь, пацаны.
У Давида.
Сейчас убил Кирилла.
20. Убил. Хорошо,
убил.
Идем.
Пик в 2, пацаны.
Красный. Ставлю под коты. 20 возьмите.
Забрал 20. Я на симпла сел, смотрю
Мало,
симпла.
взял.
Малый убил.
Важно выжить, денег нет у нас.
Еще малый.
Далеко за ящик. Пикайте.
Пошел, или что? Пирога красный.
Масом.
Доиграете?
Вышел.
Нет,
Он идет 2 красных.
Не доиграем, нет.
Я доиграю.
Молодцы, все,
Молодцы.
больше кричать не буду, я понял.
Все нормально.
Did he say it's important to win because we have no money?
Yeah, it's like the don't lose this, guys.
Yeah.
It does absolutely
But like
nothing.
more elaborate, like
Yeah, exactly.
it's like a very structured way of informing. Like,
Yeah.
strategically, guys, we must win this
If
round.
there's any other reason, just remember you don't want to lose because of that.
Hobbit, bit isolated in the middle. He can actually use a lot of backup right now. They're coming in from the high ground. They're trying to go run him down, hunt him down, and Boomich with a double. And what a start for NaVi on the second half.
Yeah, okay, well, the pistol to get to 10 rounds. Don't want to call it too soon. Exile Inter is still alive, but Exile is so damn low.
Inter's got 2 kills in the first half.
Whoa. So every kill he gets from here is a huge percentage increase.
That's a way to look at it. Buy low.
Yeah, quite low. Just stonks here for Inters. He is your favorite shitcoin right now.
That's true indeed. The odds are pretty even, as you could tell there, 180 to 190. So, it'd be interesting to see. Actually, I'm kind of interested in why it feels like NaVi did a good enough job that maybe they could have converted more people, but I guess not. Bomb is planted, 2 versus 5 with the bomb plant, and they have, some grenades here, a little bit of armor that they maybe want to save. Oh, they're throwing the grenades to stay alive.
Hey, you just got the money back for the grenades, so.
Yeah, 50% increase right now.
Right.
Boom.
Yeah. He's feeling amazing. Top of the moon. Oh.
He's
doubled up.
roughing it.
He's just a CT-side demon. That's what we forgot.
He's... it's going to the moon.
Are we being too nice?
I don't know. I think it's all right.
Yeah, he will be pivotal because he's going to be playing over on the B site around that pillar. He is the extra reinforcement on the site, so there will be tons of pressure. Favorites out of the map.
I always just think whenever I see someone who's having a really bad game, I think of it as like a great opportunity to learn something that I just think is very critical for anyone that's going to be having a long career, which is this ability to kind of outlive your own bad performance and eventually have a huge impact, and even if it's just 1 or 2 rounds, you know?
Yeah.
Which I think mentally is very, very hard to do in general. Oh, simple. Flashed and everything. We'll still pick up Exile. And NaVi, they realize it's a buy that's coming in here from Gambit now, but they want to make sure that they can shut this down. If they can get up to, what would that be, 11, 12, 6 maybe even? Such a strong lead, isn't it?
Yeah, just with that, everyone spending every bottom dollar that they've got. Can you say it like that? No, they're spending down to their bottom dollar here on this round.
I guess you could technically say the other thing too.
Yeah.
That makes sense, but okay. Shoulder. MP9 should be a favorable fight here for Electronic. One that he maybe even doesn't really need to take. And he doesn't have any backup in here just yet. Wow, that is wild confidence.
Shiro says, I'm going to kill you one way or the other. I'm going to make it look like I'm leaving, but I come back. And, I mean, it's 3 players, but they're kind of spread, and they'll be able to get a piece of the action no matter where it goes. There's no weird stack coming in. Push comes down into mid, and Simple will handle that. No problem. He's up to 18. It's in these past couple of games, it's been kind of quietly for me, where I'm just like, it doesn't feel like he's a top performer of the map, but then he is by, like, a country mile.
Yeah.
Like, no one's even close.
It is kind of cool, isn't it?
But yeah, on your point, you mentioned, being able to get back into a half. And that's something we try to talk about sometimes. Like Glaive had a map where he was like 13, 17, then he ended 28, 18. Nothing feels better than that. But players like Config have talked about in the past how they have trouble if they have a bad start to a game coming back into it. And yeah, that mental resilience is probably the difference between a Nico and a Config, even if we can say their skill is so comparable.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
At least. Yeah.
I think that's definitely fair. And it's something that presumably also, whereas some things to work on in a game of Counter-Strike, like your mechanical abilities, is something that's like very tangible. You can sit down, work on it every day and kind of, get a feel for it. But something like that is, I think it's very, very hard to target in a, if you had to try and do that to figure out, okay, how do I learn to trust that there's a future version of myself in 30 or 20 minutes that's going to be picking up, that one important 1 versus 2 clutch. And even if I fail everything else, like I just have to live for that moment. It's just very hard to do.
And if you figured it out, you don't tell anybody, right? And that's why there's only 3 players that can do that right now.
Yeah. Keep it a secret at all costs.
Imagine if they all wrote a book together.
That would be something.
That'd be a bestseller.
NaVi and Hobbit taking a bit of damage. They are all stacked in the middle here for the Gambit side, trying to surprise, but there's just too many people on the other side. Even as they get the kill on Simple, they lose 3 in return. Okay, so far so good. It is going to be 12-6 here.
Yeah. I don't think it's too far gone, though. I actually don't.
No, I don't think so either.
I think they've got some of the best CT sides on this map. I think Shiro is the player who invented how to op inside of Donut. Whereas, like, Brokey's like the high priest of the temple, as Ronnie likes to say. I think Shiro is that dude inside of Donut. And the B site, they're very, very good at playing off each other versus full execs. So there's still odds here. I think NaVi will be a bit worried, but of course, it feels so nice to like come out of the second half, just win the pistol right away. Even if T-side gets a little ugly, they'll get so much data as they lose, if they start losing rounds, that, it's going to feel like they'll eventually find one. That's an inevitability. So Gambit will have to stand against all of that. Do the unthinkable here and pull off a comeback.
That's what we want. I mean, especially given the fact that they won the first match, Gambit, they probably don't want to be battling NaVi for any longer than they have to. If they can win this in 2-0, then that is fantastic. They find Hobbit at the beginning. Electronic now on top of the scoreboard, and actually had the right idea pre-aiming that angle. Maybe could have fought and won against NaVi, but this time it goes the other way. Still a 4-on-4. Mid lost to NaVi. In fact, they are all hovering outside of the B-bomb site.
Look at Axel. He's actually already come back into mid to disrespect this information.
Huge play right now. They have to keep Shiro honest on the other side, but NaVi and Inters, they're double pushed up here. They push right in. There is an attempted free fire, but it doesn't work out. They waited, wanted a big double for NaVi. And Bit and Perfecto, they have the bomb site technically, but once they get the bomb plant down, even if they do at least, they can't escape. They're trapped on the bomb site no matter what.
4 frags here for NaVi. Bit's coming up on him, and he's looking for that last no, but Bit will take him out, and now he's on for the 1v2. He's slow, but Shiro has enough. The HP might not matter. Depends if he takes the rifle around, and he gets the duel.
Only the head showing of Axel. He goes down, Shiro. He's walking up, and he knew that he was low. Great communication. Pistols out. Oh, you see the frustration there at the end for Bit. That is way too close. They should have won that round probably a little bit sooner.
Yeah.
But at least they win it.
Hey, and if they make it expensive, that is the perfect counter to all the great buffs that we've got on the CT side. You can't have those extra grenades to use. It's not going to feel just like an overwhelming amount in the beginning of the rounds. Takes all those CT advantages away. So even if you win, keeping it expensive for the CT side is critical. But you gotta love the confidence from Shiro to walk out with the USP. And to make it a headshot as well.
Wow, yeah. Crazy close that round. That little double push to reclaim the front hallways was way more effective than I thought.
It could have gone for sure either way. The flash timing was beautiful, right? Boomich just freaked out. He had eaten that right as he saw them and then over flicked really hard. But it's about Axile, right? I mean, first of all, Electronic barrels his way through mid. And he had the opportunity to get that kill, and they could slow play the 5v4, but he had such a nice timing, he wanted to get in. But NaVi was right there with that emergency rotation, understood the circumstances, and punished Electronic for taking that extra risk. So I don't mind the play at all for Electronic. It's still 4v4. But then Axile pushes out a donut, takes over mid control, and that's the second brave move of the round. To do that alone, with just a rifle and no support from inside snipers, no tactic, just a pure read. NaVi are going to leave this. They're going to move into something else. And when he does that, you know it's not going to be A for a long time.
Yeah.
You're very, very concerned about the outside of B, and they go and try to get that information back. So in terms of confidence on that push, they had a lot of reasons to believe NaVi were going to be there, and NaVi are the ones who didn't expect them to push.
And it's an interesting, because I mean, I would say the majority of the time, if you have that strong sense that there is a push coming to bomb site, you even tend to sort of fall back and say, okay, well, let's just, let's gather everyone here. Let's make sure the idea of going on the offense when you know that is such a cool twist, isn't it? It's compared to the sort of traditional logic of Flame. I think I'm not sure what the issue is, but they're getting ready to get back in the game, I'm assuming. So plenty of money on the side of NaVi losing that round. Not so much so for Gambit.
Yeah, that's brought to you by Bit to just keep the CTs on their toes. So it'll be a tough one here. This is a horrible position for Gambit to be in, actually, buying into an MP9 and still spending everything you got.
On this T side, we saw a couple of times, I've only maybe been on just the one really, where Shiro tried to run up the B ramp. But I feel like NaVi have a special weapon for that kind of play, which is Boomich, obviously. Like his ability to just sort of run in and shoot people. That could be, they only need 4 rounds. I mean, if he does that even once or twice, it's probably enough.
I feel like there is this culture of keeping that card close to you because it's become such a popular maneuver to pull off. And like we saw Shiro do it one time on the last round, last round of the half. So I think they want to make sure that the other team is scared that it's always going to happen. But if you do that in the early rounds, then maybe the guard comes down a little bit, or they get too good at it. So I see they're probably going to wait for an explosion. I'm sure Boomich is going to be at the tip of the spear. But I think they want to make sure that Gambit are always scared of it first.
Yeah, or get bored waiting and kind of get a little bit complacent. You're like, it's never coming, And then eventually, oops, here we go. You have to be ready. It is shocking how quick the T's can get there, all things considered.
Yeah. I mean, it's so much like Banana on Inferno, except way shorter.
Yeah, that is what it feels like. Hobbit checking out the middle. Axile looking into the A always. None of them are seeing anything because the entire NaVi squad is just not there. Electronic is back to check that no one's infiltrated T-spawn because they just don't have the map control. So he has to go look while the rest of the team are doing a little bit more.
They're wondering why all these smokes are pluming in their face. But here's where I feel like Gambit are quite good versus the full exec. So we'll see if it actually works out. Oh, he doesn't clear it properly. Savors that bite.
It looked like he was looking at him for a while. Like, what are you doing? What's wrong with? What's wrong with you?
This poor guy has no idea how he's going to die in a second. Oh, just crouching under. Yikes.
Surprised that Simple's sticking around after that.
And they're going to commit too.
Missing the opportunity there. Shiro Now he's behind the pillar, but he's got the MP9 in front. Good flick from Simple. Only 13 seconds left, and Shiro is absolutely locking it down.
Make a movie.
It's great. And Simple will have to back on out. And more than anything, I assumed that he would have expected a bunch of nades to land on him after he failed that flick there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but they didn't have any other outs. They didn't have anybody.
Yeah.
You know, they went back to check through spawn because they had no info towards A, and they were wondering why is B getting re-smoked so often. And it was actually because of Hobbit searching out mid, seeing absolutely nothing. And again, it's this pillar for Gambit. And the thing is about this pillar is you're always threatened from behind. That's what made the Shiro clip so wonderful. But it's the idea of holding on to cave control and then opening up this pillar for when the exec comes in. That's so hard to deal with. It's kind of like that porch pillar on Inferno, you know, that infuriating duel you have to take where they can peek either side and it's relatively impenetrable. That's what Gambit used so well.
It's tough, especially when they come up behind him like that, because he can't really take a shot and fall away, because that exposes him to the ramp behind him. Even if he has that MP9 player behind him, it's still a bit tricky, so he has to stay within the cover of it for the whole fight. Now we're down to a 4-round gap, and NaVi have had to spend the last of their cash buying into this round, pretty much.
Yeah, it's an opportunity. This is where NaVi goes in the comms and says, we don't want to lose this round because we'll be broke. And then they lose. Maybe. Maybe. That's a big one.
That's a bit of a giveaway. Electronic makes the jump past Shiro, realizing they have so much map control right now, NaVi. This is a way different round from the last one. Axile's pushed up into the position that Bit was in the first half. Could be spicy if they try and bring the bomb that way.
Yeah, even if they don't run into him here, he is such a valuable player to have in the post-plant situation. So it looks like they are going to look for this engagement. Well, they're killing him. Oh, he has no idea.
That's, especially when they have the donut position, seems like a giant risk to take.
Yeah.
Nafuni's pushed outside of B, so they know that it's an A attack, but Shiro is the only one defending it entirely on his own, 1 versus 5, and that is never going to work out. They brought flashbangs as well, just to make absolutely sure. 18 seconds, the bomb is going to be planted. They're going to catch Inters as well. Huge round from NaVi.
Oh, that's actually, yeah, so beautiful there, and I'm with you. They push from Axile to go all the way out in this spot. You know, a bridge too far. That was like, you have the position and you don't realize how good it is. Like if they came into him like Bit, like where Bit was standing, Axile is going to probably deliver 2 kills, you know. And then if it comes to be a post plant where they've worked up Donut, they've got Shiro on the rotator, making sure they don't push too far there. You've got yourself who can come in a little bit later and they don't know you've pushed. And a lot of ways you could still win.
Do you think it was like a bit of a dual call with Nafuni pushing B? So they were like, let's push both extremities, and one of us is going to surely find the answer.
Yeah, it could be. And sometimes you don't want to be the guy who thinks too hard about Gambit, because they do some stuff that's very scrimmy, right? And they get away with it. But yeah, oftentimes, sometimes they're like, don't overthink this. And there's a huge part of Counter-Strike in the meta of just simply working as hard as you can to be unpredictable, and that means doing things that look foolish sometimes, but if you try to prepare every single move, then it's going to be obvious. So
I feel like working hard to be unpredictable sounds like it's some kind of oxymoron, but
yeah.
Maybe not. All right, the problem really again is the cash there on Gambit. They went for a force into this round. It's not at all a perfect buy here, and nice find from Boomich, making it really uncomfortable for the remaining mid players to stick around. Shiro is still at it, but they got to be careful right here. If they lose this round, Gambit might just win the map. It is that close at the moment. Shiro, he's moved up. He's actually right behind Boomich. This could actually really play out. Inters is on the other side. Let's just see. Some damage. Good spam coming through. Inters wants to go for it. Is he coordinating it? Shiro has to come at the same time. Oh, and they make it all work at the moment, but now they can't fall back. Completely exposed. And Axile almost gave his life to that same fight.
Yeah, a total pull-the-pin play. And now NaVi are working back to mid. Nafuni will mow them down. He's just got this one M4 sitting on his perch. Lights 2 of them up, looking for a third. Perfecto so low. And he's a guy that we know can play a clutch and push it to its limits. But Axile has already proved that he's great in the 1v1. So he'll take him down. And now they make it a 4-round match. But we've already seen so many great rounds from NaVi on this T side. Like, it does feel like they've got the tools. They've proved a lot already with the pistol and everything else. They won both pistols this map. I'd be pretty damn scared if I was Gambit still. And it's another situation where they win, but it's only with one alive.
Yeah, that's very true. So far, they've won 3 rounds in this second half Gambit. One of them, they had 4 alive. The other 2 has been, you know, down to 1v1s. So that's kind of hard to deal with.
I think they've cultivated that one situation that they love so much, the full B attack, where they've got 3 players in the site. I think that's where they prosper to the fullest. But outside of that, NaVi have been quite varied about their different defaults and different opening tactics. And there have been shades of Gambit with just the swings out mid and stuff like that. But just the right amount of everything that I feel like is causing Gambit enough problems.
Certainly feels like it right now, doesn't it? Okay, I've got to say, I was very skeptical of that buy from Gambit in the last round.
Yeah.
And it paid off in the end.
Leave it to NaVi.
Huge round, yeah. Really good stuff.
One of the high fragging IGLs this year.
Yeah. High volume as well. I actually really love that.
Yeah.
Harosh.
Harosh, yeah. It's great. And we only saw the energy from him, like, when we hit land.
Yeah.
When they were online, there's none of that. Then he just dyed his hair, went Super Saiyan, and started yelling.
Yeah, it's crazy. To be fair, if you yell online, all that happens to your neighbor's going to come knock at your door in the middle of the game.
Oh, yeah,
like,
true.
Please, please.
Please. How much money did you win? Like,
We're trying to have a normal life in this place.
that's a good point.
They are so far back on the map. This might as well be just the start of the round, Launders. What's going on?
Yeah, sometimes people do not push for the entire round on CT side. So we saw NaVi play it down to like 40 seconds outside B, sit and wait, and then just exec. They're not really worried about a flank. And they've already done so much work in terms of conditioning across the map. I don't think they're worried about Gambit coming and seeking out some map control. They punished Axel over here and have made some moves in other parts of the map. Now they're spreading really well. It's another pretty promising round here for NaVi, but they don't have the total guns to work with.
Shiro back here. One of the few rounds where it's probably a really great thing that he doesn't have the AWP, because they're going to be coming through in large numbers. They have armor as well. Axel, the first point of contact. Not really traded yet. Simple's going to get the headshot. That was just a deagle to take down Shiro. And while this battle is happening, Axel can't help out his teammates that are in the bomb site. He's just playing a ring around the rosy, or ring around the donut, as it were this time. Oh, but he gets the follow-up. Electronic as well goes down, and Simple is low on health. It all works out at the end. He tried to stab him.
How did
put in his place?
How did Axel do that, man?
I have no idea.
He was so low. I mean, there's not a more unnerving situation to be in that spot where you get spotted from the front and your teammate dies behind you. He sees a kill feed, Shiro goes down, and they know the split is oncoming to A. And after this fight, he takes a few more bullets and then somehow ends up killing all of Electronic's teammates before he even has to fight him.
That is so wild. Yeah, I really thought that was going to be the end of Gambit in that round, because he couldn't finish the fight and help out the actual bomb site. That didn't matter.
That was the prophylaxis right there. If he kept reacting, he would have eventually gotten caught from one side or the other. But instead, he took the risk, he pushed forward and found cover, and they were too slow to punish.
And no bomb plant. That is the money gone for NaVi.
Wow. Suddenly this map is becoming very real.
I mean, they kind of recovered and saved themselves a little bit in the first half even, right? It's a 9-6 finish at the end of it. It's pretty good. But if they make it all the way back and beat NaVi in 2 maps, that would be legendary.
Yeah, it would. We'd have to talk about that one. Again, the Mighty Duck story.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
No, that's what we're building right now, isn't it? Double deagle on the side of NaVi. Could be enough to get maybe an opening headshot or 2. Okay, trading some nades. There's one from Simple. Inter's getting caught. Still a pretty rough game for him.
Oh, and almost any other round, that one kill could have made a world of difference.
Yeah, it has the disadvantage of being too far away for them to even pick up the rifle. So they get one, but they can't build too much behind it. Although Boomich is close enough by to make it a bit interesting. Shooting the grenades to try and see if they could get them a little bit closer. NaVi doing a good job and staying very hard to find back here. Double for him, and Electronic probably going to be found in the next couple of seconds. So Gambit, they will make their way up to 13-11. Glock will, okay, team kills. It's all good.
No one kills my teammates except me.
Yeah.
Hobbit says.
Deny him that extra cash.
Yeah, ADR one way or another.
It all counts, doesn't it? Electronic and Simple are both at 22 kills. I mean, NaVi, if you look at the scoreboard, just looked like a team that should have already won the map.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. We've seen that a couple of times this event where it's like, well, the team's not getting kills, and they're getting round somehow. So yeah, it's an objective-based game. As stupid as that is to say out loud, it's a game that is all about getting those bomb plants or playing the clock down, and you can win forcing a team to save. You can outplay them and make them save.
They've been doing some work here, Gambit.
Yeah.
Close that gap down to just 2 rounds right now.
Yeah, I think we've seen some pretty high-level stuff in the second half. NaVi showing their depth by doing a lot of different things in each of these rounds, map control rounds, fast rounds. But then we've also seen a lot of bravery out of Gambit, disrespecting the map control. Coming back into retake mid, I think 2 out of 2 times not seeing a single person, so knowing where they can find their risks. And I think that has brought in a lot of success. And then you've actually had NaVi on just a couple of key spray downs that have made a world of difference. Taking Electronic out and then getting the 4K on this last round, pushing through Cave and then mowing down 2 in mid.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been a pivotal player so far here on Ancient. Again, bomb leaned towards that B bomb site. Some good mid control based off just a couple of smokes here for NaVi, which, again, they don't really need that much. They're close themselves to picking up this map. One good opening could definitely do it. Galil and AK in the middle, angling for it. What a headshot, but what a catch in return. That's the Galil, so takes a bit of effort to try and get a spray like that. But he'll defeat Hobbit. We're back into a 4-on-4.
Yeah, that's one hell of a refrag. That'll keep the campfire going for a little bit longer. But I think once again, Gambit do have kind of the right idea. We've got 3 players leaned on the right side of the map, and they're leaving Exile alone to scope things up, but they're fully expectant of it to end here.
They don't have a lot of smokes to block off NaVi and Inters, unfortunately, but they are so close that they could do some real damage here, NaVi. They're going to be springing and just exploding onto the bomb site. Flash to set it up. NaVi, I can't believe that he still lives. He's going to get the headshot. He should have been dead instantly when that flash came out. Inters will be there for another kill. And NaVi can't really spend time right now. Molotov is there, but they need to get this bomb plant quick before anyone else from the Gambit side shows up. It's Inters coming in, but it's not enough. Bit will get a double, and Perfecto will get one there. Absolutely godlike retake from NaVi. Actually looked like they were completely about to screw that up as soon as NaVi got that kill.
Yeah, that was monster. And then Inters was able to find one and tuck for so long with the flash to assist for the peak. He finds the next frag, but NaVi treated it like a deathmatch. They were out in the open. There was no time for nades anymore. They just had to trust their crosshairs, and they delivered.
Oh, man. Is that the one misstep in Gambit's play that's going to cost them the map?
Yeah, I mean, now it's been so expensive. We have seen them win rounds like this before, but that doesn't mean that it's going to happen again. The only difference now is Shiro still has his op. Oh, he has a chance to be the savior for Gambit with their back completely against the wall.
Not if they change the pace like this. NaVi is on his own. He's trying to smoke and stay alive inside of that smoke with a 5-7, but they're going to find him. Which random headshot to take down Exile. And I would almost say at this point, just save what you got and try and bring it to overtime.
They've got too much left over. Inter's taking bullets through the wall. It's just as you say, we wait some time and we finally get that full-on explosion right at the beginning of the round. Perfect to do it on a low buy where a team is not going to molly you preemptively or take a lot of deep control, and they just decide, let's skip the formalities, let's get right into the exec, and Boomich is the first guy, just gets 2 kills right off.
Oh, wow. They waited a while, NaVi, to close the trap here on Gambit. Now they're 1 round away from bringing us onto that 3rd map. Be very exciting. It's going to be on Inferno, so it's the perennial closing.
It's got to be Inferno at the end. I mean, if it's not Inferno, I don't want to watch.
It's true. We should make that a rule. You can pick the other 2 maps, but we just have the analyst and the audience get to...
You pick Inferno, it gets played 3rd. That's it.
Yeah, true. Automatically put it at the back.
Yeah.
They just need 4 in a row here, Gambit.
Yeah, I can't help but feel like it's still very possible, but it kind of feels like shades of Mirage. Like on Mirage, we had NaVi playing well, but just slowly behind every single round. In the second half, they walked away with it. Surprising to see how good NaVi's T side is here, but at the same time, they believe in it themselves. They were, again, surprised, but almost in a condescending way that Gambit would dare pick Ancient when they recently haven't had the best time versus NaVi.
Wonder what is being communicated on the Gambit side. MP9s, they don't have quite enough to go for the really heavy buy that you would like to start this 4 round in a row kind of run. NaVi have a bit of a bank, so you know, Gambit, if they win 2 in a row here, then the third one will be a little bit easier. Okay, Electronic stomping into the middle. Oh, that smoke goes way too far. Is there a gap? Electronic is knocked through, but unfortunately for NaVi, they've lost Boomich and Bit already.
Yeah, those are the distractions. That would allow Electronic to, like, really take haste. And in this situation now, he feels like he doesn't have that option anymore, and he's correct about it. They're watching this like a hawk.
Yeah, Hobbit, so well aware. That...
Well...
Wait, sneaking in, he did see just the hand of Simple. This definitely saw the AK as well now.
All right, well, Simple making a play, and it's versus an MP9, way far back. Inters will spot him. How long do you want to take that duel, though? And now he's going to look for your friend, and he'll kill your friend. Inters, he's out. That's 2 players on A. They have to rotate over. They know Shiro got his frag as well. There's no more players here.
Huge return. And actually, they were so stuck on that bomb side, they could never escape, because there was also Perfecto coming in from the other side. They were boxed in a massive way. So in spite of Gambit getting the opening kills and actually looking like they were going to win that round right away, they're in so much trouble here. Exile and Shiro, 2 on 3. They have to fight for it. They have to try and see if they can get this done. Otherwise, they're going to end up losing Ancient. And we'll go to Inferno as the deciding map of the grand finals. Shiro looking for anyone on the ramp, but they are hard to find right now. NaVi, they're ducking on the bomb side. They don't want to show themselves. Oh, he messed that up. And that is it, 16-11. He tried to unsilence that gun at the end, obviously by mistake. And that is how NaVi get to Inferno. Absolutely stunning stuff there. I've got to say, impressive. Third map is coming up. It's after the break.